What's up, y'all? Welcome back. We are on day 10 of our challenge, and let's dive in. I actually have a lot of reading to get through. I'm going to come out of the book of Proverbs at some point. But I'm going to go ahead and start reading. So a lot of reading. So just roll with me. I'll tell you which verse that I'm going to, which when I'm swapping over, but we are going to start off in Proverbs 10, verse 3. So let us dive in together, right? So Proverbs 10, verse 3, and it says this: "The Lord will not let the godly go hungry, but he refuses to satisfy the craving of the wicked." Verse 6, "The godly are showered with blessings. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. We have happy memories of the godly, but the name of a wicked person rots away." Verse 11, "The words of the godly are a life-giving fountain. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions." Verse 16, "The earnings of the godly enhance their lives, but evil people squander their money on sin." Verse 20, "The words of the godly are like sterling silver. The heart of a fool is worthless." Verse 21, we got a little bit more left, y'all. Stay with me. Verse 21, "The words of the godly encourage many, but fools are destroyed by their lack of common sense." Verse 28, "The hopes of the godly result in happiness, but the expectations of the wicked come to nothing." And then verse 30 through 32, "The godly will never be disturbed, but the wicked will be removed from the land. The mouth of the godly person gives wise advice, but the tongue that deceives will be cut off." Verse 32, "The lips of the godly speak helpful words, but the mouth of the wicked speak perverse words." And I lied. Sorry, I know, on a Bible study. Look at me. Psalm 37, verse 30, and I'll go to some breakdown for a little bit. So I'm coming out of Proverbs. I'm going to Psalm 37, verse 30. "The godly offer good counsel. They teach right from wrong, and they have made God's law their own, so they will never slip from his path." So from all these verses, there are two things that we learn here. And what we learn is that there are godly people and there are things that God does for godly people. I'll say it again. There are godly people and there are things that God does for godly people. So if we were able to sum all those verses up together regarding like what godly people look like, I want you to think, if you are taking notes, you can write this down. And if not, I want you to have this mental image, okay? Maybe you're driving, working out, cleaning, that's cool. Whatever it is that you're doing. But have this mental image of, as if you were writing on a piece of paper. You draw a line down the middle. On the left side, it says godly people. On the right side, it says God does for godly people. All right? Left, godly people. Right side, God does for godly people. And here's, with everything we just read, which is why I read those specific verses, here's what godly people look like. You ready? We have happy memories. Words are a life-giving fountain. Their earnings enhance lives. Words are like sterling silver. Words encourage many. Hope results in happiness. Will never be disturbed. They give wise advice and helpful words. Offer good counsel. They teach right from wrong. And they make God's law their own. That's what godly people do. So before we go into what God does for godly people, I want to read a couple extra verses, and I'm coming out of the book of Proverbs again. I'm now going to go to Psalm 37, verse 23. All right, Psalm 37, verse 23 through 26. Listen to this. "The Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. Though they stumble, they will never fall." I love that illustration. I have a niece and she loves holding my hand. And so when we walk, every now and then she gets excited and she stumbles. But what happens? Because she's holding my hand, I pick her up. I hold her up. So she doesn't even hit the floor. Like, what a beautiful illustration, saying that if we are God's people and we walk with him, when we stumble, he's going to hold us. Verse 25, "Once I was young, now I'm old, yet I have never," this is so good, "I've never seen the godly abandoned." Another version might say, "I've never seen the righteous forsaken, or their children begging for bread. The godly always give generous loans to others, and their children are a blessing." Look at Psalm 37, verse 39 through 40. "The Lord rescues the godly. He's the fortress in times of trouble. The Lord helps them, rescuing them from the wicked. He saves them, and they find shelter in him." So let's go to the right side. Remember, going back to that mental image. On the right side, this is what God does for godly people. He doesn't let them go hungry. He showers them with blessing. He directs your steps. He delights in every detail. He never abandons you. He rescues you. He's your fortress in times of trouble. He helps you. He saves you, and he shelters you. If you want God to direct you, to delight in you, to never abandon you and rescue you, here's my question. How are you doing in your godliness? When we go over that list of what's defined as godly people, remember things like happy memories, words are a life-giving fountain, give wise advice and helpful words. We teach people from right from wrong. Do people say this about you? Do people have happy memories of you when they leave your presence? Do people leave your presence full, feeling their life has been enhanced by you, or are they drained by you? Parents, do you give a wise advice to your children? Would they say that about you? Same to you, kids. For those who are grown, are your words teaching right from wrong? Pastors, leaders, teachers, entrepreneurs, do your words encourage many? Because based on what we just read, that's what godly people do. And the thing about this is godliness is not something you earn. It's something you develop. How? By accepting Jesus and what he did on the cross and receiving him as the gift. And my response to receiving that as a gift is how I live my life. One of the things I think of is that my lifetime, I've had the privilege of serving in the Army, and I didn't change my behaviors and then say yes to the Army. I committed to the Army first. And over time, I did the ROTC program. So I went through, summer camp, which is what we need in order to commission as an officer. And then when you're done, we go to something called BOLC, BOLC, which stands for Basic Officer Leaders Course. That's a whole nother 2.5 to 3 month training program. And what happens is over time, because I said yes to the Army, because I dwelt with the Army, because I hung out with the Army, I ended up changing my habits. I ended up changing my patterns. I ended up changing my disciplines. But it's because I just hung out with the Army. I just said yes to the Army. And in my commitment to it, my patterns changed. My behaviors changed. So when you think of the text when Jesus is like, hey, if you love me, keep my commandments, we hear it like, if you love Jesus, keep his commandments. And knowing Jesus is probably like, hey, if you love me, if you say yes to me, if you just dwell with me, if you just hang with me, you'll keep my commandments. You hear the difference? That's where the godliness comes from. If you want to live in godliness, just love Jesus. Like whatever you love, you will follow. And that's true with everything in life. TV, movies, your favorite artists, books, a sports team. You didn't buy a jersey or merch and say yes to the team. You said yes to the team. And then you bought the merch. Like, think about that. I remember years back, I wanted to do something different for my family for Christmas. And one of the things that I did was I treated them to a hockey game. There's nothing about us that speaks experience in hockey. All right. We'd never been to one, which is why I wanted to do it. So it was a day before Christmas Eve. Yeah, I think it was December 23rd or 22nd, something like that. And it was the San Jose Sharks game. And I remember we went there and the hockey team scored at one point. And all of a sudden, the lights in the arena start to dim. It goes dark. It goes down. And you start hearing the Jaws theme. You hear dun-dun, dun-dun, and the lights kind of start flickering. And you look around the crowd. They take their arms out in front of them, one arm on top of the other, and they kind of put their hands into a claw position, and they move it up and down like this. And we're like, what are they doing? And they called it the shark attack. It was, and everyone's doing it. And of course, I'm sitting next to my sister, and then we started doing it, and my parents were doing it. We're all doing like, yeah, let's go. You would have thought we were on the team for years at a time. What happened? We didn't go in there knowing to do that. We just dwelled in the environment. We didn't know any of that, but we dwelled in the environment, and because we hung out there and sat there, we were influenced. What happened? Our behaviors changed. Our patterns changed. In fact, we walked out, I bought a skull cap. I mean, you would have thought that we belonged to the team for years at the end of it, which leads me to our wise takeaway for today. Godly people have a firm foundation. Godly people have a firm foundation. If you look at Proverbs chapter 10, verse 25, it says this: when the storms of life come, the wicked are whirled away, but the godly have a lasting foundation. So a question of the day is, what's your foundation built on? Like, what's your foundation built on? And it's built on one of three things. We'll make it very simple for you. It's built on you, it's built on the world, or it's built on God. I say again, you, the world, or God. And here's what I mean by the world. It's built on your politics. It can be built on your job. It can be built on your race or your cultural stance or even your family dynamics. It's anything that has priority over God himself. One will win, the others will lose. And I say this, a temporary foundation is anything that can be taken from you. Storms of life will come, guys. And when it does, it often reveals who's godly and who isn't. And our godliness doesn't come from working or behaving for our faith. Our godliness comes from working and behaving from our faith. And that happens by what? Dwelling with Jesus. You show me someone who has a firm foundation, I'll show you someone who's just dwelt with Jesus. And as we do, you can't wait to live your life privately and publicly for him simply because you love him. Just dwell with the King. Just dwell with the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, who created you, who sees you and loves you. And when you build your foundation on that, you become a godly person. Just dwell and hang with Jesus. And as you do, he's going to empower you in a way to live your life for him that's honoring of him. When you do that, you have a firm foundation. Our wise takeaway for today is godly people have a firm foundation. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Later. Thanks for joining us today. I want to challenge you with two things. Number one, invite somebody because you don't want to do this alone. And number two, join our online community group. I left a link in the description below. What I've come to find is you do your most powerful growth in community with like-minded people. And don't forget to post in the comments below your greatest takeaway and tag me on Instagram at Mark K. Benton 2 so I can see what God is doing in your life. I'll catch you guys on the next one.